So this presentation is brought to you by Tricia, Samira, Constantine, and Adolphe. We did a presentation on the Quebec Bridge collapse 1907. We're going to start off with the key facts of the case and what really happened. Um, Chief engineer for the Quebec Bridge and Railway Company, Edward Ahor, never worked on a cantilever that's longer than 300 feet. Chief engineer of Department of Railways and Canals in Ottawa, Collingwood Schreiber, assisted by Department Bridge engineer R.C. Douglas, who was removed from office for opposing to calculations submitted by contractors. Schreiber requested support of another qualified bridge engineer, but overruled by cabinet on August 15, 1903. QBRC consulting engineer Theodore Cooper took over the work on July 1st, 1905. McClure noticed increasing distortions of key structure members, and this immediately concerned him. He wrote repeatedly to QBRC consulting engineer Theodore Cooper, but Theodore Cooper said these were minor issues, so he did not really focus on them. McClure disagreed and realized that the problem is serious. Him and Cooper finally agreed on the issue and prompted a telegram to Phoenix Bridge Company to add no more load to the bridge until due consideration of facts. The message did not arrive on time, so after 4 years of construction, the south arm and part of the central section of the bridge collapsed in St. Lawrence River in 15 seconds. Out of the 86 workers on the bridge, that the 75 were killed and the rest were injured. So second, we're going to move on to the EGAT analysis of ethical issues. The first ethical issue is that the violation of this case is the 72.2a, the issue of negligency. Cooper continuously neglected issues that were associated with the case. After concerns pointed out by engineer McClure, but were perhaps hastily looked over by QBRC engineer Theodore Cooper, who considered the issues minor. The second ethical issue is that the violation of the 72.2c. This issue addresses how they broke their unprofessional misconduct, because Cooper failed to report their situation, which endangered the safety of the public. Cooper examined the drawing from the Phoenix Bridge Company, and the weight of their manufacture still exceeded the estimated weight. At that time, the anchor arms were already in place, so he forged and did not change it. So they continued the construction by increasing the stresses, which was not safe. The third ethical issue was the violation of the 72.8. Collingwood Schreiber, chief engineer of the Department of Railways and Canals, was assisted by Department Bridge engineer R.C. Douglas, who was deposed for contending with the calculations that was incorrect.
So an alternative solution for the first issue would have been engineer Theodore Cooper should have investigated the issue further, which could have led to a different opinion on the matter and have dealt with the situation at an earlier stage. For the second issue, Cooper should have made changes that coincided with the drawings from Phoenix Bridge Company, even if it meant abandoning the anchor arms that were already in place and building new ones. For the third issue, the company should have not deposed Douglas. Instead, they should have considered the calculation errors made by the contractors and made the correct changes. For the analysis, the first issue upholded 72.2a in that Cooper continuously neglected issues that were associated with the case. For the second one, it violated 72.2c in that Cooper failed to report the situation, which endangered the safety of the public. The third one upholded 77.8 because Douglas maintains his integrity without fear about the unethical conduct of using incorrect calculation. So the decision is the right path to approach would be Cooper to investigate the issue further and deal with it during earlier stages of the construction. He should have made changes that coincided with the drawings from the Phoenix Bridge Company. The Quebec Bridge Company should have considered the calculation errors made by the contractors and made the correct changes.
The legal issues in this tort law case. The Quebec Bridge collapse is a specific case for tort law in which a plaintiff was wronged and is owed a duty of care since they have suffered losses and harm. All in all, this should result in the legal and illegal liability for the parties committing the tortious act. The plaintiff in this case could be the people and family affected by the bridge collapse, and the defendants would be QBRC consulting engineer Theodore Cooper and Phoenix Bridge Company chief designing engineer Peter Zlapa. Legal precedents in this case will be linked to Donahue versus Stevenson, and in which case the manufacturer owes a duty of care even to the people they did not have a contractual relationship with. The proof that legal tests for tort law are met is that, first of all, both Quebec Bridge and Railway Company and Phoenix Bridge Company owes the plaintiff a duty of care. Both QBRC and Phoenix Bridge Company failed to provide the duty of care in a predictable manner, and this ultimately led to 75 out of 86 workers on the bridge to be killed and the rest injured. Now that the tort law is established, the question of who is responsible for the damages can now be addressed. In the particular case of the Quebec Bridge collapse, QBRC and Phoenix Bridge Company would be considered as concurrent tortfeasors, since overall more than one party is technically liable for the damage that were caused in this tort action. Considering this is a tort law, in the case that the bridge collapse never occurred, the plaintiff would have been able to avoid injuries and losses. That being said, the plaintiff, including those injured affected by these events, will want to claim for direct damages. These damages include aggravated and general damages for non-monetary losses like pain and suffering that they had endured from the result of negligence and professional misconduct of those responsible. So all in all, the judge would most likely rule in favor of the plaintiff since the case passed the legal test. Even though McClure tried to alert Cooper of the distortions of the key structural members, Cooper failed to recognize the severity of this matter. This goes the same to the Phoenix Bridge Company, who also claimed that the beams were already bent before they were installed in the bridge. So both defendants argued that the injuries were not foreseeable will be invalid in this case. Thank you.